Big Bad Steve in the house.
Hey, Todd, this is a time when you could definitely be the more tech savvy person because I couldn't figure out how to get to the stage.
Well, we're glad to have you, Steve, because I think at some point I just turned to some of the moderators and said, hey, I'll have another chat with them. But then your team said, hey, maybe Steve can join us. So now all the people in the audience get a bonus because they get Steve, and he's way cooler than me.
Oh, so. No. You are the coolest. But hey, this is our first one, Todd. I'm glad we're doing this.
Yeah. So what's fun about this is that you and I can BS all we want, but then people can request to speak and we can bring them up on stage. They can ask their questions and then we can answer their questions. Super cool.
Yeah. And it's to, what will become our marketplace, everyone involved, everyone listening. So, I want to make this the coolest, baddest, most insane marketplace that's out there. And that's all because you guys are here.
Yeah, they're awesome. So why don't I talked to him a little bit last week, but before we bring some up on stage, why don't we give you the floor a little bit, Steve, and let the people know why you're even doing all this or what your interests or whatever. Just give them where your head's at.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this before, Todd and I, and I've been in NFTs since summer of 2020, or that's when my introduction in the NFT world came to me and came to our team where we could get involved as creators. And since then, it's like every month is like a year in how business develops. It's just how fast paced and how modular things are, and how what's incredible is that like any one of us have this opportunity to create part of a future that other people can join in and build on that. So it's just a lot of fun. And one of the things that's really exciting is building something bigger than a collection. I had my first NFT was February, and since then we dropped like 7 collections. But one of the most exciting things is like what can we do that really enhance the culture is building a marketplace that everyone can create, and that everyone can participate in this model and share the ideas. In many ways, in my world, because I'm a musician, an artist, producer, I wanted to create something like a SoundCloud, in the way that SoundCloud really is about younger artists that are trying to find a community that can really value and understand their sound. And there's so many different genres, there's so many different niches, and there's so many different ways to express yourself and interpret how you express yourself. And you need community. You need other artists and people and collectors and whatnot that believe and understand why you're doing this thing and get you and build on that. And I didn't find that in the NFT space. So I'm like, well, we're at a stage where we can really do everything and anything, but do it at scale. And that's why I've been hammering at Todd for better part of this entire year about doing this together and build that marketplace, build the community base for our younger Todds, younger Steve Aokis that have really interesting ideas and want to share that.
Cool. So do we want to bring up some questions for people to sort of bombard us? You up for that, Steve? Or what do you do?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get into it.
Okay. Let me see here. Pop out. Okay. Where's my chart? Man, I gotta figure. I just lost where everybody was in line. Oh, here. Show request. Okay, VJ. I'm gonna sit here. Invite to speak. We're gonna do VJ. see if VJ's in the house, if we end up coming. Let's see. VJ, you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
All
What's up,
right.
VJ?
Okay, VJ, before you get going, I like to know where everybody's from. So before you get going, tell us where you're from.
Right now I'm living in Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, that's Canadian. So you get 2 extra brownie points. Cool. All right. You're up here. You got all those people on the stage there. I'm sure they all are wondering the exact same thing that you're wondering. If you got a comment or question, fire away at us.
Yeah, this one is kind of I guess a Canadian / technical question. So I was reading your FAQs for your NFTs, and being in Canada, it said one of the places to get Solana is Coinberry. But when you go to Coinberry, they don't sell Solana. So for a Canadian, where would be the best place to get that?
Wow. That's, you know what? That's off the top of my head, I don't know. But part of the reason for us sort of making sure that we don't go out public till we get these things resolved.
Todd, yeah, there we go. I was just gonna say your McManagement came in, I think, to answer that one for you, bud.
Yeah, so introducing McManagement. Matt is involved in our team. He can answer a lot of the technical questions that Todd and I might not be able to answer. So Matt, go ahead.
Matt, you
So
know the Canadians?
Yeah, you know, I think you actually caught a mistake, which I'm glad you flagged that. We need to fix that. Canada, I believe FTX actually has access to Solana coins. But we'll do a little more research and find you a few options. Coinberry, now that you mention it, you're right. They do not do Solana, but FTX definitely does. Here's another
stump. Me being in Ontario, FTX, for whatever reason, is banned in Ontario. I believe it works in every other province but Ontario.
All right. So that's why we're doing these. I love these questions. We're all in a WhatsApp group. I'm going to try and get you an answer before the end of this Q&A.
I will say this. I know one place that does have Solana. The only problem is it's Newton. But the problem with Newton is you can buy Solana, but you can't move it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
They have it on hold, so they feel like they want to release it.
All right, let me work on that while we're on the chat, and I'll try and get you an answer.
One of the moderators says KuCoin for Ontario, Canada.
KuCoin's a good. I think they're also a mobile wallet, which makes it even better.
Yep.
Yeah, KuCoin would probably have. They have a variety, and I've bought stuff from KuCoin before.
So KuCoin is K. Just so anyone who's listening, KuCoin is with a K. KuCoin.
Right.
All right.
So there you go. We're gonna have to update some FAQs and some videos.
Yeah, one of the things we might do too is when we go live, maybe try to. I don't know if we'll be able to do it for every country, but at least the top 40 or 50, we might be able to give an indication of where you can go in your country that it will work, so that people can just say, "Hey, I live here. What's the best places?" All right.
Yeah, no, yeah. Just to echo that, this is the time when you're trying to onboard in and ask these questions that are very specific. That because we're all like working together on this, so this is great. So I'm glad you asked that question, VJ.
No problem.
Thanks, VJ. Appreciate. Say hey, hi to everybody up there, Canada for me.
Will do.
All right, let's bring in who we got next. We got Mom Boss. What? Mom Boss. Let's see what Mom Boss has to say here. Maybe I'll bring in the second one. So we have two, and we'll just hopefully have two on stage at all times, and only one will end up talk. So I got Frit Will Travel is up to come up on stage, and Mom Boss is going to do it. In the meantime, before one of them gets up there, Steve, what have you been doing to keep yourself busy? Tell the folks.
Man, working on my new album. I get that new music ready for 2022. My birthday's coming up. Very excited about that. Having like a lot of family over. Obviously, it's Thanksgiving week, so family's coming in. What about you, Todd? You have a big Thanksgiving plans this week?
My daughter comes in for a couple days, but today I got a comic book out. Got to get 2 covers done, and then got to approve about 44 toys here this week. And then I just got the reason I was actually late because I was talking to somebody about a TV show about us how we started Image Comics. Like
Wow.
I keep saying that. I go, I think people would get a kick out of the story of how we basically got to where we got to. And oh, by the way, we get to use words like Marvel, DC, Venom, Cable, Deadpool, X-Men, Stan Lee, Bond. You get to use all these words that people like know, and it's part of your story as you're
Yeah.
watching a TV show, and it's all true. It's all true. So anyway.
Oh, there's an epic photo that inside Todd's office of when you're telling me about the story. I'm like, what's this photo all about? You have Jim Lee in the photo. You have like all this is
It's the very first meeting we ever had together. It's the day that we all sort of the original partners sort of say was day one of Image is that photo. So,
yeah. I mean, like, can you like talk about that story about who were in the photo, like what kind of happened? Because like that needs to be an NFT. That photo, it's a pivotal part of comic book history.
I think there's even a better one where we're all sitting there flipping the bird because we knew we were about to become rebels. So maybe that's the one we should put up there because it's like, here we go, right? Braveheart. We're just going. We're going to try and take down the regime here. So, but yeah, just a bunch of young punks thinking that they knew a little bit more than the system and said we're going to go out on our own, just like you did with your music. And here's the thing, Steve, anybody that sort of does anything successful and it works out, you never know that first day that you're about to do something that is going to matter, right?
Exactly.
You're just doing it because it's like
Yeah.
the right thing to do today. And then 5 years, 10 years later, you look behind and you see that you've covered a lot of ground and you go, man, I guess it's been a pretty good runway. So, but we didn't know. We just wanted personal freedom, and we didn't know that was going to put a marker in our industry that was going to create another option for everybody else moving forward. Because, as you know, any industry you work in, the more options you have, the better choices you can make for yourself personally. And it might not be what the previous guy did. So
Yeah, because if someone wants to talk to young Todd, and you had this position, and I remember you were showing me, so I mean, I don't know what you call them, the cells or like the original prints from what you were making for Marvel at the time. You were one of the top artists there, like, and I mean, I'm sure some people would be like, "Well, you're out of your fucking mind leaving." Like you're the top, you're like one of the top artists, and the fact that you actually left saying, "No, we're going to do our own thing," it just says a lot about where you went and like it's just a really incredible story.
One of
Like,
one of the big reasons I left, in honesty, was because we were the top dogs, if you will, and they would do this like year-end planning of like what they were going to do with all the books, and we were the guys drawing all the top books, and they never asked us our opinions. It was one of the things that sort of irritated me amongst many things that were happening at that point. But they were doing all these planning sessions on how to make comic books better, even ours specifically,
right.
and never asking, "Hey, do you guys have any thoughts?" I used to always say to them, even if you just gave us 5 minutes and at the end send us out, and when the door closed, laugh behind our back or roll your eyes, and we would never have known. We probably would have all stayed longer, if not forever. But
This is a lesson to all the executives at bigger companies like Marvel and what not to do so you don't lose your biggest artists and create a whole empire and what Image Comics is all about. It's like could have had you forever.
Yeah. No, and the reason we went and quit and we told them why we were quitting was because we were trying to basically give them a head start, saying if you keep this up, there might be another 7 guys in a month or 2 months, right? So we're not asking for anything. We're not negotiating. We're just telling you why we're leaving. If it was me, I'd close the barn doors because some of the horses might keep leaving. I don't know. Doesn't seem like a good business model, but you go ahead. And then we walked across the street that day to DC Comics, and Jim Lee came with us, and Jim Lee had never been in the office at DC, and the executives at DC thought that they had literally scored the trifecta of like, oh my God, we just Todd, Rob, and Jim walked in, and they all quit Marvel, and they're coming to us because back then, I don't know what your business like is, Steve. If you were at Marvel and you got mad, you went to DC, and if you were at DC and you got mad, you went to Marvel. All you did is just keep crossing the street, right? So when we walked in there and said, "Hey, we just quit Marvel," there was only one option in all their brain. Woo! We hit the mother lode. We hit the mother lode. We just got 3 of the biggest guys from Marvel, but they gathered like about 15 people in this big room, and they all sat down, and then we had to break it to them. We're not here to work for you guys either. We just quit Marvel. We just thought we'd come across the street and tell you that we're not going to work for you either, but we're going to give you the same reasons why, just in case you guys need to close the barn door too. And there was this complete lead balloon that went in because there was anger because they were like, because I'd worked there, I knew some of the people, and they were like, why would you bring Jim Lee to this meeting? And Jim Lee has never stepped foot in DC, and you brought him here just to tease us and to tell us he's not going to work. Why would you even do like you sadistic son of a bitch, Todd? But I remember sitting at that table that day with clarity, and they were going, I don't understand. Why would you guys not want to work for us? You know, we just did this new contract to help improve the freelance community and the art community. And I only had one question for it. And I went, hey guys, you know, that was really cool. You did that, you know, sort of you upgraded the you know, betterment of the creative community. Could I just ask you one question? You know, when you were putting that contract together and all those things that were going to be better for the creative community, did you ever ask one fucking creator to give any input to that? And the room went deadly silent. And I already knew what the answer was. And so that was it. That's why we're leaving. Because thank you very little for basically creating a document that's supposed to make our lives better and not once ever even thinking along the process that you might actually want to ask any of us. Not me, not Rob, not Jim, anybody in the art community. What would be better for them? No. That escaped all of you. That's why we're leaving, because this is how little you think of us. Thanks. That was that. That was sort of the end of it. All right, we got Mom Boast. Mom Boast, can you hear us?
Hello. Yes.
Okay, where are you from?
Australia.
Holy shit! Look at you.
What's up, Mambo?
Not a lot. I seen this on Facebook today, and I got pretty excited. I thought I'd come and try to get in, and I'm kind of in shock, to be honest. I don't know what to say.
Look at you're up on stage. Look at there's Steve to your left over there, right? There's McManagement to the right, and right now I'm grinding you in front, so it's cool. So
can I just say thank you guys for this opportunity and for being who you are. Basically, you've inspired me a lot.
Oh, thanks.
To draw, and I don't know. I'm kind of in shock.
Okay, so what's on your mind? You got anything that you want to share with us or with the audience?
Could I ask you, Todd, what software you use to draw on and what tablet you use?
Yeah, I use the same that a lot of people use. For the most part, I use Photoshop. So let me just. Yep. So that's easy. I think it's comfortable for me. I draw on a big Wacom tablet at my office.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And but when I'm at home, I find I'm drawing way more now on my iPad Pro. They've got a couple. Yep. They've got a couple programs that come preloaded that do everything.
What do you use on your iPad?
I use Clip Studio. But people will use Procreate, but I use Clip.
Yeah, cool.
But because I've downloaded brushes that work for me, so everybody can customize. So anyways, it works
awesome.
for me. Everybody has their own sort of processes.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, sorry. I got XP pen, the cheaper alternative to the Wacom, I think.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't sure. I've been mucking around with Art Rage and Paint and stuff, but I'm wondering if I should commit to Photoshop or not.
No, it's interesting, and it has a little bit to do with NFTs here. That when the option came that you could go from pen and paper to digital, there was a lot of blowback. I would argue that it's still there, and people were like, "It's not really art. You're doing it digitally. Don't you miss doing it on paper, Todd?" And it's like that's real art, and all those hangups that are there. And part of it is because a lot of the freelancers also sell their artwork, but there's such a sort of a, you're either on one side of that track or the other, that you just think it's blasphemy because it's not tangible. And this is the sort of same thing we all run into. I'm sure you do too, Steve, with, people's definition of art is really small, I think. And it's like, people go, I got to be able to hold it. Well, that's not the only definition. As a matter of fact, I think that definition is going to get quite sort of quaint as the years go by, of people not wanting to sort of catch up with technology, and allowing people to enjoy art in whatever fashion they can. So I don't know what your experience has been, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, if I look even in the audience, I can tell who people are by their NFTs that identify with them. That's just how it is now, and it's moved pretty quickly. Like even last year, you would not put your NFT as your avatar, as your profile. Now it's so common. It's really identifiable with your personality, who you are. Like it becomes part of you. It's like probably very difficult for you to sell the NFT. It's not like as it is something that you resell. Of course, I mean that's a part of the business model, but it's part of your identity now, and that's going to be more and more how it's going to be down the line. So. I always I was talking to someone else today about NFTs, and I always ask that question, like, are you getting involved? Like, what's your take on it? They're like, oh, I'm too late. That's like the funny thing that people say. Like, I was like, what's so funny? I said the same thing. I said the same thing last year. I'm too late. But we're like, if you really look at the grand scheme of how many people even know what the word is, how many people are involved in like the percentage of what art and collectibles and the grand scheme of like this whole world of art and collectibles, it's such a small percentage that whoever's in it now, whoever's obviously educating themselves and executing on that is are going to be able to make some real moves for the future.
All right, Mom Boss, appreciate you coming on board.
Thanks a lot, guys. Sorry, I'm just a bit in shock. I don't know what to say.
That's okay.
Nice to meet you, Mom Boss.
You too. Thank you very much.
All right. Be good.
Peace, guys.
All right. Now we're up to Big Bad Brit Will Travel.
Hey, Todd and Steve. It's Brittany McManus. You guys probably both know me from CGC and also being friends with Wanda. How are you?
We do know Brittany. She knows the CGC. For any of you guys who've ever gotten your books graded, your comic books, somewhere along the line, Miss Brittany here had something to do with it. So.
Very true. I saw that you were doing this NFT talk today, and I got so excited, and I just had to know if we were going to be seeing Spawn in the metaverse soon.
You know what? Here's what you need to do, Brittany. You need to how. Wow, I didn't even know. We're gonna have to think about this. Is there a way to meld NFTs and grading? That's weird. Because it's all perfect.
I have an idea, guys.
I have been thinking about how to mesh NFTs with grading constantly.
Okay. Matt, Britt. So enlighten us, because Steve and I are the old guys. Figure it out.
Brittany, you should hit me on the side.
I will
I'll message you.
absolutely hit you up when this was done. I just wanted to pop
I've got an
in
idea.
and say hi to Todd, say hi to Steve, and let you guys know I support what you're doing over here in the NFT space.
Thanks, Brett. Yeah, I love CGC. I always like that. That's like my go-to. Once I get like whenever I get something from Todd, I'm like sending to CGC right away.
Yeah, no,
And I make sure those get rushed back out to you quickly.
Thank you, Brett. Appreciate you.
You know what Brett also has to do, Steve?
What?
Can you imagine? Like, just think for a second. See if you can imagine this. Can you imagine that there's anybody that sends in their book and is just slightly disappointed they didn't get a higher grade? So every person who has a little bit of disappointment, which is probably every single person who doesn't get a 10, gets to fire off an email, and Brittany gets to do customer service for all of them. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Woo!
Well, actually, I have a question for Britt. What's the percentage of 10s? Do you guys have any notion of that? Like I've never seen a 10.
I've seen one.
I worked at CGC for probably 2 years before I saw my first 10. And I want to say the percentage of 10 is like 0.02% of all books graded. And you really only see it with modern books and books that have a heavier card stock.
Right. Yeah. But wow, to see a 10, I don't care what book it is. It's like the holy grail.
I rarely see 9.9s. So even 9.9.
Yeah, I've never seen 9.9. I've seen 9.8. Yeah, I've seen 9.8. Of course, I've seen 9.8, but never 9.9. 9.9 is actually ridiculous.
I think Todd's new Scorch book, because it has that thicker card stock, that 20-pound bond paper that he's going to use, I think we'll see some 9.9s from that for sure.
Darn it. I'm going to make it too easy for people to get rich. Darn it. So, all right, Brett, thanks for coming on stage with us. Cool. She's good. She liked being on stage, Steve. I went to Orioles game with her the other day, and she danced with the mascot up on the dugout. So she's quite a show woman. Yep. All right, who we got? We got Micro Octopole 84.
Marco Topo.
Look at that, and look at his avatar. Cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's it. All right, you got to unmute yourself, Marco.
Hey guys, you hear me?
Marco Topo.
We'll go to Eagle Eyes next. So.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Good. How you doing? Where you at?
I am in Texas.
Texas. Here we go.
Yeah. So, got a question for y'all. So, Todd, I appreciate the story about kind of empowering the artists and kind of what drove you to start your own thing. And today I was browsing the Twitter machine and I saw that Lau started at a Series A for his own music NFT project, and he raised like $55 million on that, along with like Kygo and Chainsmokers and a couple other guys. So, Steve, I don't know if you had seen it, and you have any thoughts about, music NFT and kind of bringing back all that ownership back to the artists such as yourself?
Yeah, no, I'm all about it. Clearly, I think it's obviously the next step. It is very early. If you look at the NFT landscape of what's being traded, music is not even close. But it's getting there, and I think it will be the next frontier. So what Blau is doing and what Blau has been doing, he's always been he's always an outlier in the space. So it makes sense that he's doing this. And I believe in that project. I'm very familiar with it. I'm actually, going to invest in it as well. But yeah, I think that's definitely a frontier that is going to be a big piece of the NFT landscape for sure. But it's like I said, it's early in the space of NFTs, and NFTs is already early. So yeah, there'll be some building that we'll have to do.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Cool. All right, Eagle Eyes, all eyes are on you.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. Where you at?
I'm from Miami.
Miami. Cool, man.
Yeah, man, I've partied to a bunch of Steve's music.
Yeah, I've seen those pictures in Miami with Steve.
I'm always in Miami. I was born in Miami.
Oh man, I love it here. I was born and raised here myself. And Todd, man, I'm a big fan of all your work. There's work I'm a fan of yours that I don't even know you. So many things. So my question was more about the NFT. I'm trying to catch up. I'm really into VV. That's the only NFT project I want to take your project right here, and I'm gonna take it seriously and put some money into this. And I just wanted to know because I went down the rabbit hole on YouTube and I saw that you were speaking about the Spawn universe that you're creating, and is that going to be part of this NFT project?
So let's talk about it for a minute, and then Steve can sort of jump in here. So there's a lot of different NFT sites, and they're all trying to do something a little bit different from each other. A little bit. VV is a little bit different, although for somebody that's new, especially from the art comic book world, toy world, it probably makes the most sense because it's it's sort of the closest thing to what you're already doing right now, which is collecting books and then finding some of the hard to find books and things like that. I mean, obviously, other websites are doing that, but essentially, what Marvel comic books are doing, and they almost have a drop every day, it are taking key books that you could possibly otherwise already download from like a place like Comixology, that basically has all the digital comic books for $2.99, but they've got a $7.99, and then they just put they only mint so many copies of their books, and they put in the variant covers, and then they basically make them and they weight them differently so that they have what they call their common, uncommon, average, rare, super rare, ultra rare. And you're buying it blind, so you're basically buying a lottery ticket. Which I've been talking to a lot of people. I don't know what you've been hearing, Steve. It seems to be working. It seems to be popular with a lot of people of sort of buying a blind pack
Yeah.
that has these different levels in the hopes of getting the high one. The thing that the only thing I can liken it to a little bit is what you're involved in, Steve, which is like card packs, where you're to use baseball as an example, you're buying that card pack hoping that you get basically that hot all-star rookie MVP rookie card that is going to be worth $200 in your $5 pack that you bought. And so they're doing the same thing with NFTs, and now they're even doing it with statues, which bodes well because that means I do a lot of toys. I can get into that, but I don't know what you've heard about VV.
I mean, the culture of the blind box and the blind packs it's like decades, since the beginning of baseball cards. So it's like it's a very, very traditional collectible card culture, which makes sense that it translates into comics, and it makes absolute sense it's going to translate into NFTs.
Yeah, and this is why a site like VV may be kind of popular, because it's easy access and it's doing what people are used to. Instead of, I think NFT as a whole can be a little intimidating to a lot of people, don't you think?
Yeah, I think the most intimidating part about it is just the onboarding, because it's obviously, it takes a bit more steps for people that aren't that tech savvy. Like that's what scares a lot of people, at least the people I've talked to. And it definitely needs some hand-holding to get through that process. But once you're able to go in, just like people go on breaks and buy packs and online breaks wherever they see it, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, that kind of thing. Then once you're in, it's easy to be able to transact, buy, sell, trade pretty quickly, and it moves at a rapid rate. So that's when it becomes the kind of thing where, like me, I'm like, my eye in the space is, I'm always looking, I'm always in. I've never been so like heavy into such an industry like the NFTs. It's been a game changer as far as my attention. Like I've paid attention to it far more in detail than any other industry that I've been part of. I would even say with music, like music's a little different. I'm paying attention to what's popping, what's like, where the culture is going. Because as a producer, it's like I have to know where the culture is going and then predict where it's going, so that way my music can sit in the future, and when it drops, it actually is forward thinking, right? So you have to think like that. But with NFTs, it just moves so fast. And that's why I'm always calling you, Todd, with like, yo, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, because it's just we have to make those moves pretty quickly.
Think about doing it. It's already too old.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
That's it. All right. Let's see. We can bring somebody on. Somebody's gonna have to leave the stage, maybe, or I don't know if can more than 6 people be up there? Or there.
I got you.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna do one here. I'm gonna go to Tamage the Watcher. Tamage the Watcher. Can you hear us? You there?
I can. How you going?
Good. Well, more importantly, how you doing? Come on. This is all about you today.
I'm doing very well. I've been listening intently, just waiting my turn, but I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Good. Where you at?
Where are you from, Tom?
I'm from Brisbane, Australia, so quite far away.
What? Going to 2 countries, the U.S. and
yeah, I know.
Somebody's going to have to represent. So
I know Brisbane well, actually. I've been to Brisbane many times.
Nice, man, nice. I didn't know you were going to be here today, so I'm very excited to have you here too, Steve. Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I had a question for Todd, because I knew Todd would be here. Steve, I didn't know you were going to be here, but I have thought of a question, so I'll hit you up straight after.
No worries. Yeah, absolutely. No worries.
I was very lucky. My uncle got me into Spawn when I was far too young, probably. But I grew up with the toys and the comics and the cards, the 95 cards, all that sort of stuff. As an adult now, I've got the Malibu Sun era edition or era print slabs and stuff. I've got things that people would treasure of Todd's. But for me, when I was a teenager, I randomly came across a little pop culture place that me and my friends went into, and they had like packs of the old Spawn cards. And I just on a whim, I was just like, oh man, they got Spawn cards. That's awesome. So I bought it. And I opened the pack and I got the chromium Spawn, like the rarest card that you could get in those packs.
The rare one. Yeah.
It's hard, man. It's hard to find. And immediately the guy behind the counter, his eyes just exploded and he tried to buy it back from me immediately. My friends to this day tell the story that they were the ones that bought the cards and opened the pack and got the rare one. But for me, it doesn't matter like what I have of yours that is worth, it's what other people think is the rarest or the most hard to find or what's special to them. But for me, that Chrome card, that's pure joy, pure nostalgia, that moment that I'll never forget, where I was lucky enough to open something and get something that came from you and what you designed and was special to me. I was wondering if you had a passion project that resonated with you like that, where when someone brings something across your desk where you're just like, wow, and it just brings back that memory of how amazing it was to design.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you my moment that you had, and I'm going to pass it on to Steve, because he's going to be able to talk about breaking down packs, because he does this for a living, which is super cool. Except for he can do it globally, so you can. Too bad. Steve can't have the camera on the people when they're getting it, because some of the packs, when you break it open, you actually get some stuff. But I'll give you my stupid story, and I'll pass it on to Steve. I had a brother, you're younger, a brother, you're older, and we used to collect baseball cards. So I'm going way back now. We're going back to 1972, and we're collecting the Topps baseball set. And it was the largest baseball set at that time. And it had 6 series. And they'd come out like every 2 months, and you have to do it. And for some reason, I don't know if it was a printing anomaly or whatever, but it was like almost like a 700 card set. And at some point, I had 699 cards. My brother had 699, and my other brother had 698. I forget. But all 3 of us were missing the same one card, right? It was a guy who was a schmuck that pitched for the Philadelphia Phillies, and his name was Ken Reynolds. I'll never forget Ken Reynolds. And so we would buy packs. And you can imagine you're at $699. You only need one card. You'd buy boxes and you buy packs, and you'd be opening up the cards, going, "Oh fuck, another Willie Mays. Oh shit, another Hank Aaron. Who gives a crap?" Right? Like you're throwing in anger Hall of Fame guys away because you want Ken Reynolds. Ken Reynolds. He now becomes the holy grail. And we went at that for months and months and months. And then one day they have what they call vending machines. And they weren't really a lot, but you put in a nickel and you turn it like a bubblegum machine. But instead, four baseball cards come out. And so whenever we see it, we put a nickel in, put a nickel. And one day we go there and my oldest brother, puts in the nickel and he turns it, and the card on top that comes out is Ken Reynolds, and it was the Mcfarlane boys. And I swear, I'm not religious, but I swear the heavens parted that moment, and there was a God that came down, and we all stood there looking at this card like it was magic. And we all just went back to the car. Mom and Dad shopped. We didn't care. We went home. We all sat on the bed. We passed it around. My brother put it in his collection. We thought it was great because he completed his collection. He had 699 collection. The next morning, my brother comes into my room and says, "Hey, where the fuck's my Ken Reynolds card?" I'm like, "What?" He goes, "It's not in my collection." "Oh, I don't know. And then we used to collect all of our cards and put them into team packs. And so he walked over to my closet, opened up the door, went over, grabbed my Phillies, and went, "Oh, you've got a Ken Reynolds too now, I see," right? Unfortunately, it led us to actually putting our initials on the back of all of our cards. We ruined all of our cards.
Oh my God.
But Ken Reynolds, that's it.
Oh my God, you initialed the cards. Oh my God, that's so sad.
We were stealing each other's cards, so it was the only way.
I mean, it's kind of cool if you have like an OG, like TM, like your initials on those cards. It's kind of cool. It's like an auto, it's a Todd McFarlane auto on those cards.
I also had a collection of about 25,000 comic books, and I kept track of them by putting a number in the back page, inside back cover. I put a number so I knew how I had. And I put all 25,000 of those into a store one day. I opened it up with my brother-in-law, and I'm like, "Man, I wonder if any of those books with the number in the back," because that was from my original collection. But anyway, Steve, talk about breaking down packs and getting that wow moment that he was talking about.
I mean, it's just like what we were talking about. It's a culture. It's like this never, like when you tell this story, I feel that story. I mean, that's decades old, but it translates right here, right now. But now it's at scale. Now you could do it, at home. You don't need to go to the store anymore. You could just buy a pack from these breakers on every single social media channel. And you get the same feeling when it's not even your card. Like I follow so many breaking accounts where I just watch other people get these huge hits, and I'm just like, oh my God, they got this. Like it feels like it's for you, but it's not, And I also myself, I break, I was doing the Pokemon box breaks for other people during COVID. I did like 13 breaks. 13 times I broke a Pokemon box or something, and or a MetaZoo box. And like when people get these massive hits, like we're just screaming. It's like, and it's for like some guy or a girl that just bought in, and of course you want them to hit, you want them to win these massive hits, but it's such a feeling, it's such a feeling. Like I think everybody loves that. That's why it's such a rich culture, and you can't take that away. You just can't. It's just so much fun.
Why 50 years later, not do I remember Ken Reynolds, and I remember the card exactly, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's so visual how you explain the story. It's like you see it like this like young Todd McFarlane, like putting a nickel in this. It's just it's so cool,
with your two brothers, and you're going, "Oh my God, best day ever, best day ever," right?
The only thing that's changed, it's not a nickel anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what's so cool about the NFTs is that, like, you know, it might be a little bit more, but sometimes you could win something really big. I mean, even in sports cards, you could buy into something. I know there's this one kid. There's a story about this one kid. He's in Canada, and he bought a pack for like at a store. He bought a pack. I think it was like, I don't know, $14 or something. Like, so it was kind of expensive pack. It's like $14 pack. Mm-hmm. He ends up pulling a 101 Lewis Hamilton, the Holy Grail Lewis Hamilton 101, and it's like valued at over, I don't know, $600,000. Like people are trying to buy it off him. I tried to buy it off him, but it just got so high. It was like ridiculous that like I had to stop. But like, it's literally could be more than that, you know, like it's crazy. This little kid opens a pack, spends like $10 in 4 singles, and gets like a card that's over $500,000. You know, it's just wild.
Jeez. It's insane. And the question I had, well, actually, I'll rethink it. The question I had for Steve was going to be, would you ever cake Todd? But now after that conversation, I'm thinking maybe like, is there a way that you guys would ever do like a mystery NFT, like kind of like that moment of opening the cards and having that surprise of what you could get? Would you guys ever do like a blind NFT where people would pay for it, not know what it is, and then when they open it, they get that surprise and that rush of what it feels like to open something and not know what it is?
You know, we haven't discussed it, but Todd and I, we have a lot planned of the collaborations that we're going to be doing together, and we're both like, it's clear Todd's history of like, you know, being a baseball card head, and like, you know, that's his world, and I'm like a card head big time. Like I collect cards on all levels, like TCG big. I'm a partner in MetaZoo, you know, so I'm big in the sports cards. So Todd and I'm sure we're going to be doing all kinds of interesting drops and mystery boxes and mystery packs and blind boxes and blind packs. They're definitely something that we haven't discussed it in detail, but I could say that, you know, it's definitely part of the roadmap that we're going to be doing.
And we're kids at heart, and it just sounds fun. So I'm sure we'll come up with a bunch of fun, goofy, stupid, fun stuff. Yep.
Well, that's it. Like hearing you guys talk about those stories of when you were a kid, and even me when I was a kid, like it just changes the tone that we use, the way we feel about it. And if, you know, obviously you guys moving forward, whatever business aspect you have, I know you'll put a lot of that joy and magic into it as well. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Because we're
I'm literally opening up packs right now. Like I buy boxes and cases of stuff all the time. I open it up as I'm doing stuff. Like it's just like it's part of me now. Like I love doing it.
Yeah, I'm literally holding that Chrome card in my hand right now as well. I went and got it straight away, and I was just like,
that's so cool.
I'm gonna be holding while I talk to Todd with it. Like that's my childhood, man. And to be able to talk to Todd while I hold it, like that's really special.
You need to grade that thing.
I don't know, man. I like with my comics, especially. I like raw stuff. I like to read the pages. You know, every book has its story. Like it takes damage along its way, but it still deserves to be read and cherished. So I'm kind of the same way with cards, man. I like to, if I take care of something, it's because I love it and I care for it. And I don't like grading stuff. You don't get to touch it. You don't get to feel it, and it doesn't hold the same sort of joy for me. So, and that cost me a lot less in the long run. Let me tell you.
All right. Appreciate you coming on board, Tamlet.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
You be good. All right. We're over to Renegade. Okay, be good. Renegade Rebel, looking sassy in your avatar.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you. That is a happy quokka, one of the happiest animals in the world.
There you go.
It's here to spread good vibes. You know, that's what it's all about. But hey, thank you for doing this question and answer. Steve, thank you for joining as well. My question is, so with the two major people that you guys are from your respected worlds of art that you guys create as creators, how has it been trying to formulate like NFTs and put together a project where you're both taking what you know from your respected worlds of art and trying to blend it together to make this project?
Well, here's the goal wasn't. I mean, it's always nice to collaborate, right? And so those are always sort of fun moments for anybody to do it. And so Steve and I will do some of those, but that wasn't sort of the main goal. That like, hey, let's do NFTs, and every single one of them is going to be a Steve Todd collaboration. That would get sort of a little sort of boring after a while, to some extent. So Steve's got sort of his thing he wants to riff on. I've got my stuff I want to riff on. We're going to collaborate from time to time, and then as we keep saying, we're going to have other people come on board. Hope to sort of sit on the sidelines and just watch with a smile with them, and then maybe even collaborate with them. So to me, this is it's no different really than going to a party for 3-4 hours and talking and having an enjoyable conversation with 15 different people at that party during that night. Instead of just talking to the same one or two people. I mean, Steve and I like each other, but we're both sort of artists at heart. We want to experiment. We want to try things, and we'll probably just be all over the place, just trying to sort of navigate the landscape of which we don't even know what it is right now. So.
Yeah, to be more specific as well, like I'm going to be dropping. I have another IP called Neon Future that I do with Tom Bilyeu. We're dropping a Neon Future NFT through OddKey. So I'll be dropping like other projects here as well, on top of like collaborations that Todd and I will be doing, and on top of other artists and creators that are going to be joining in the space that. We're creating, what it's like Image Comics and Dimmock, my company, Web3. This is like what we plan on building, the philosophy, the network that we have, and the community that really, values what all these artists and creators and me and Todd's art and vision, what we want to do. So, that's very exciting stuff.
Well, I really appreciate where you guys are coming from, being both so passionate about this project and really trying to create an open marketplace for artists to be able to put out NFTs and get into this whole culture of digital art. So I just thank you both for that, and a lot of love and respect for what you guys are doing.
Appreciate it, Renegade. All right, we got Gaming and Crypto with Dad. What? Cool name. So, can you hear us, Gaming?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, sure.
We can hear you, Ben.
1 minute. I think that's
up,
rocking load. That's rocking load talking gaming crypto. You're gonna have to back out of the stage, and I'll get you back up here. You're just gonna have to fix your audio settings to be able to speak.
Wow. Well, thank you guys for taking the time out this evening. Wow.
What's up, Rocky Load?
Woo! Wow. It's I'm sorry. It's a little surreal for me. Didn't really expect to have this opportunity, but anyway, thank you, gentlemen, for the opportunity. I just want to say very quickly before I ask my question, and I'll try to keep it brief. Todd, I've been a huge fan of yours since 1989 when I picked up my first copy of Amazing Spider-Man 315 off the newsstand in Queens.
What? That's before you had hair on your ass.
Yeah, pretty much. And just been a fan ever since. It's what got me into comic books. And long story short, I wouldn't have been able to put the down payment on my house if it weren't for comic books and a million other things. So I thank you for all that. That you were the impetus for all that stuff.
Hey, Rock, I said last time, and Steve and I know this, that you sometimes the fan base sells himself a little bit short, right? That Steve and I have talent, but if we don't have an audience, then we're just self-indulging. We might as well be down in the basement doing it on our own, right? And there's plenty of people that, and so we've been able to find, don't know how, it just happened, an audience that will support us so we can actually make a living, and you guys give us the freedom to get up every day and do art. Like you guys don't even know how much that means to us. And now it's been decades both of us get to do it. I mean, it it's good for the soul. But we can't do it without you guys. So I know you guys are always being thankful and saying nice things about us, but I'm telling you, the true rock stars are you guys that basically support us and give us some of your hard-earned money so we can keep doing it. So.
Wow. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. That's quite humble of you, sir. Appreciate that. But anyway, what I was going to say, and thank you for that, is that since that time, obviously, some time has passed since those days of ASM, and I was very fortunate enough to purchase some original art by yours. I actually had to give up my prized possession prior to that, a copy of AF-15. For those of you who don't know, Amazing Fantasy 15, in order to purchase one of your pages some time ago. I own several of them. And speaking as a person who's truly a fan of the art itself and the original art and the story it tells and the uniqueness of your styling and how stylized the characters are. I've also, I'm a longstanding fan of Veve, and I've been with him for about a year now. And I've been looking across the entire landscape of course, original art, but also NFTs as they relate to original art. And with very few exceptions, most of the people who are posting up their own NFT projects and posing, I shouldn't say posing, but as comic book artists themselves, most of them are, from what I've seen, are fairly unrecognized, with several exceptions. And you have Frank Miller out there, and you have the guys doing the Vampirella stuff. And Frank Miller, he's putting out his Sin City, where he did some time ago, and some of it looks very cool. But what I haven't seen anyone do, and I'm curious as to whether or not you're going to entertain this as an option, but I haven't seen anyone put together an NFT that kind of encapsulates the actual process of putting the original artwork together. As a fan of the artwork and as a fan of an owner of original art, it's something that I would kill for. Like, I know there are plenty of people out there who said, wow, what would be better than owning original art or owning an NFT that's limited minting? Wow, what can you do there that nobody has done, that you really can't do in something that's just a still frame? Actually showing the process, seeing the artist come to, I can just see you coming into your room and having that favorite easel that you've been using since you began your professional journey. And the room is surrounded by perfect examples of all your historical original pieces of art that you still have. And then you sit at the table and the camera comes over the shoulder and it shows you doing the blue ink on Bristol board and then the India ink on top of it, just the full rendering. Even the option of having different camera angles. These are things, I know we're talking ahead a lot, but these are things I haven't seen anyone talk about. These are things that I think would be amazing. Is there anything? Am I hitting along the lines of anything that you've thought of?
Yeah. So Steve and I have had these conversations, and Steve, within the music, there are multi-steps for both of us to get our final product done, if you will. I think, and Steve can jump in here in a moment. I think that what we still don't know, because there's so many unknowns here, is what's the depth and what's the length of any of this as it relates to NFTs, right? Because arguably you could sell a 2-hour movie as an NFT, right? And so right now things are sort of very tight and very short. And some of the stuff you're talking about might take a little bit more time. And is there an audience for that? Yes or no? I don't know. What's your thought on that, Steve?
Yeah, I think when you look at what NFTs are as of now, you want to make it where it's not going to be this huge file, right? Because then the minting would be extraordinary. That's why you see little clips. To make like this whole scene, like these kinds of ideas, we definitely toyed with, and we just want to make the minting process as low and affordable, sustainable, eco-friendly as possible, which is why we're going on the blockchain that we decided to go on, first and foremost. And so we have to figure out what that looks like. And obviously technology moves, at a pretty rapid rate. So things will, obviously be able to be done at scale like that. But we're definitely, like, what I was saying before, Todd and I we have we have like a laundry list of different things that we're going to be doing as far as offerings to OddKey that will be of really great significance and importance to, obviously Todd's history, Spawn, what I'm doing as well. So I think all these ideas, this is like why we're doing Q&As, like also to hear what you guys, value, what you guys would love to see. So that's actually, I love hearing your visual. It's really beautiful when you like really break it down, what that looks like. So there's a lot of things that we're basically planting seeds, and see what works, what doesn't work, because we could do it, but then we have to make sure that it's something cost effective, it's efficient, it makes sense to drop. And whatever we drop, we want it to be special, and it's always going to be something of importance.
Awesome. I appreciate that, and that's very fair. Thank you guys so much, and then appreciate you answering my question. I look forward to seeing what you guys put out with us, especially those original art pages that I know Todd's never letting go of. So,
all right, that's why your original artwork's so expensive right now. So.
Probably. Thanks again, guys.
All right, thanks. All right, gaming crypto.
Right, let's try this over. I went and got my headset.
There we go. We hear you.
All right. Well, first of all, guys, thank you for hosting this. Steve, I've been following you for a while. Congratulations on all your NFTs, man. Like, you're an inspiration. I want my ape and I want my cool cat.
Exactly.
Yeah, I really, I just got into NFTs with one of my buddies that's listening, Need Want. I've been playing the crypto for a while, and the NFTs, because I've been a collector for 15 years. By the way, Todd, I'm from Seattle. We've met, Ultimate Toy Collector. I saw you at Toy Fair the last time I saw you, but right before COVID. And being a collector and now getting into NFTs, just space, right? Everybody was worried about space, and now it's just all on our phones, and it's just incredible. Like, the stress reduced of all the collecting stuff is now in digitally. Where do you guys? If it was answered already, I'm sorry, but obviously, working with Steve, with Todd, and the rest of the crew, this is going to be a project that I'm really excited. It's going to be successful. Where do you guys see? What's something that you can share that you just you want to do? Is there something you can share with us?
Well, for me, gaming, it's really less about the actual piece of art, because I just know that there's going to be 100 crazy ideas that come out of Steve and my mind, and whether we do it individually or together, whatever. There's like that to me. That's going to happen, right? Cool stuff's going to happen. The piece for me that is sort of exciting, besides the experimenting and whatever else, is being able to sort of reach places in the world that otherwise might not get reached. Steve, because he does music and it's audio, it's a little bit easier to reach some of his fan base, potentially, because of that component. But I know I get, dozens of emails every week from people across the globe that can't find the comics or the toys or whatever it is that I'm doing in their part of the world because of bad distribution, or because even if it gets there, the markup on it is so much that it gets prohibitive in terms of cost, because even just to ship something from from the US to Australia is 70, $80 or something like that. And you may have only paid $20 for the item. So there's a frustration that people just can't find it, too expensive, or in some places in the world, and this is the thing that people don't pay attention to. I was talking to Matt about this earlier. There are just places in the world where people don't have space, right? There are crowded places where people don't have a room that they can have all their collectibles, and have closets even where they can have their collectibles. So to get any and all of those people that I just mentioned onboard it, to be able to enjoy Steve's music, my art, or anybody else, any other creative person's sort of vision, they may be limited to only one way of being able to get it, and that may be digitally. And as somebody who wants to reach as many people as possible, why would we exclude those people, right? I mean, NFT digital is another way to touch people that you would otherwise not have a way of touching. And if it has to be digital, then God bless it being digital, right? The whole thing about stuff having to be physical to me is just a mindset, and it's a limitation. It's a limitation on the people we're going to be able to reach. So I don't know, Steve, what are your thoughts on?
Also, we're setting up for the future. You know, the way that people will buy and sell, and it's not just about that, it's about how you identify. It's going to become more in the digital space of now what's called metaverse. It's like, you know, when you just look at Instagram, when people care so much about a like, I mean, that's digital. That doesn't exist. You know, it's like, I'm sure more people would rather have a like than someone to pat them on the back, you know, because that's essentially what they're doing. You know, it's like the way we look at how we express ourselves, how we identify with things, it's so much more digital that we don't even realize it. I mean, I'm talking to the audience right now. I'm assuming you're like 20 to 30 to 40 to maybe 50 years old. Okay. In 5-10 years, the teenagers that are living in the metaverse, probably as we speak, playing COD and Fortnite and Roblox, whatever it is they play. This is normal life. We're talking, this is very normal to go home from school and jump on Roblox, jump in Fortnite. These are metaverses. They exist in that world. They're buying skins. I mean, Pokemon Go is like, it's $1 billion. They're making $1 billion a year on like buying Pokeballs. Okay, talk about Fortnite, what they're making per year, per month, per day. Call of Duty, all these different things. How it's so important to identify and you're spending money in these spaces. Now you can actually, like, imagine you buy a skin in these games, but then like you can actually sell it. You know, like it's actually an NFT that you can actually make money on. This is going to be very normal. NFTs isn't just art; it's a technology that's going to be it's just a more advanced way of exchange. And yeah, it's like with utility, right? It's like it's an exchange. It's an exchange of like it's basically an advanced form of exchange. It's an advanced form of currency, and it'll become normal currency. Just like way people look at crypto, people that are already in crypto, you just exchange. It's an exchange. You value what you have in crypto and you exchange it. And you know, people that don't believe it are that they exchange with currency, like, you know, banking and with institutions outside of that. But yeah, it's just going to become so normal that, you know, these kinds of conversations like, oh yeah, I mean, of course we're already here. So yeah, I get really excited about this because I love being early in something I really believe in, and also having a community of people that will, you know, that agree with this idea that we're going in this direction, and you know, the other thing too is like space too. That's the other issue. It's like people space to put up everything in their closets, walls, whatnot. So.
Yeah, thank you. Again, thanks for the opportunity to talk to you and get to know more about that. I absolutely agree. Being a collector for years, Todd, you know, you probably got a lot of backlash from all the older guys. I'm 38, so I understand, you know, the physicality, and you know, Steve too. You love that graded card, but you know, a friend of mine put it to me in a very important perspective. Is like, you know, that #1 Spider-Man, are you going to keep it hanging on the wall, or is it going to be locked where it never sees daylight? You know, if you release an NFT, you'll be more than happy to share it. You'll look at it, and it won't be worth as much, but it'll still have a good value. And starting seeing it like that, really started getting into the NFT and the collecting side. And believe me, if my son wanted me to buy that floss, I would probably go all over the world to get the floss for Fortnite.
All right. Well, thanks for jumping on the stage with us today, and glad you were able to ask your question. So
Yes, thank you, McManagement too, man. I followed you, and I'll be following all of you guys. Thank you.
JP, we're gonna bring you up there, and then I'm gonna see if I can get my son to come up on the stage here for a minute.
Yeah, I'm working on it right now, bud.
Yeah, sure. Right, JP, you're up.
Hey, Todd and Steve, I'm one of the ambassadors for the Spanish channel, so most of the questions here are from them. They don't speak English, so they wanted to know, what projects are you working on besides these? They were very interested in the music side and the art, so they want to know what you guys are working on.
You go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I guess like the next drop, I just dropped a Nyan Cat collaboration. It's if you've seen the Nyan Cat, let's Google that. It's a really popular meme from the early 2010s. So it was really cool to do that because meme culture and NFTs, they just work so well together. I always look at like NFTs as like just like the same way I look at collectibles and cards. Just anything that penetrates culture, I'm always like keeping my eye on and tracking. So it was really great to be able to work with something as iconic as that. The next drop is MetaZoo. So MetaZoo is, just to get you guys an idea what MetaZoo is, it's a TCG, which means trading card game. If you don't know what that is, best way to kind of refer that would be like the Pokemon cards that you see, just like baseball cards, same kind of thing. People play Pokemon or Magic the Gathering with these cards, but there's also obviously a collectible side to the culture, and a lot of people trade it. And the statistic on how many people actually play Pokemon versus collecting is like 4 to 6% of the people that buy Pokemon cards actually play the game. So a lot of people clearly collect these cards. So I'm a partner in a TCG called MetaZoo, and it's doing really well. It's got a really robust community, and we're dropping a utility token very soon. So there's a Discord group for MetaZoo. If you're interested in that, you can just join that and find out more information about that. So that's currently what I'm working on. So, but obviously Todd and I, we have plans that we can't unleash, but for OddKey. But yeah, we have a lot in store. But I'll
by the way, congratulations on that. Pepa's new song, you mixed it with Farruko.
Oh yeah. That's, I mean, in music, I mean, I'm always in the studio. Actually, Farruko and I just because he was here for the Latin Grammys. There's a lot of Latin artists here in Las Vegas, and so I did a lot of sessions here with a lot of artists here. And we made another hit. We made a hit. It's a monster. It's a crossover. It's like Guaracha and EDM combined, and it's gonna blow people's minds. I can't wait.
I can't wait for the release, the official release. And Cowboy Bebop, I'm telling you, I jam to it every day.
Oh, great! Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I mean, for me to remix the iconic opening of Cowboy Bebop, Tank by Kano. Yeah. She's a legend. She's a musical legend. She's the heart and soul of Cowboy Bebop. And to meet her, I got to meet her, and get to be graced by her presence at the Cowboy Bebop premiere. Just incredible.
I saw that. Amazing. And here, the last question, music-wise, is: do you have a tour planned to go to South America, specifically Colombia? Lots of people.
I love Colombia. Bogota, Cali, Medellin. I have like incredible fans.
Okay.
Like, I remember my shows, and like whenever I see comments, like just the Colombian flag pops up. I mean, I have so many amazing fans in Colombia. I cannot wait to go down there. I don't have any plans to go down there because of COVID. I think every country has their own things.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm touring mainly U.S. I'm playing Las Vegas every weekend, pretty much. So for all my Colombian fans, all my fans in Latin America, Central, South America, if you guys get the chance to go to the United States, come to Vegas. I'm playing on the weekends. You can come to my show there. That's like pretty much the safest bet to see me is Las Vegas for sure.
Well, I'm in Alabama, so I'm gonna have to go to Vegas and see you and just jam and have a great time.
That'd be great.
Yeah. NFT is not well known in Central and South America. It's very new here in the United States and around the world. But in Central and South America, people do not know what Discord or an NFT is. Do you guys recommend anywhere to go and learn about it, or are you guys going to expose more of this in your channels, on your websites, on YouTube, anything like that?
The go-to is Twitter. Everyone knows Twitter, right? So I think, obviously you'll see it in other social media platforms, but if you want to really get up-to-date information, Twitter is definitely the best social media source. Okay. And then from Twitter, you could start jumping on Discord groups and to specific NFT projects.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
I think too that it's not well known, but like anything, right? It's just going to eventually seep everywhere, right? So it may take a little bit longer, unfortunately, in different parts of the globe to sort of get there, because it's still, even in where we're standing at, it's still in its infancy, right? You have lots of people that are still timid and or don't know what it means and or afraid of it or whatever else. So we're still trying to find a comfort zone here, but the more people get comfortable, the more they talk about it, the more the word spreads. The more the word spread, the more people get involved. So hopefully this doesn't take a decade, but it will eventually seep and pour over this entire planet wherever there's electricity.
For sure. I believe that, and I have two more questions, guys. Sorry, this is from the Hispanic community, Spain, and all that. The future get-togethers, is there going to be something like get-togethers as OddKey, like a San Diego Comic Con, but OddKey Comic Con? I know it's very early, but people are very excited for this project. They want to know, like, there's going to be get-togethers where we, as a community, get to meet you guys and get together.
So Steve and I both travel, and so at times with our busy schedules, you can imagine trying to coordinate things. But we either will find a place that we think would be a good place, but again, where do you pick on the globe? Because you go, hopefully, have everybody there. My guess is that it will be more where, Steve's saying, "Hey, I'm playing in Brazil this week," and I go, "Hey, we got a big community down in Brazil.
Yes.
I'm not doing anything. Hey, can you stay an extra day? Maybe we should go and do so." I mean, my guess is it'll come almost more serendipitous.
A surprise. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we'll let people know. But again, Steve and I look at our schedule and just saying, hey, instead of adding something to it, are we both kind of in the same area at the same time? Why don't we jam together and do something?
Excellent. Yeah, that's great to hear. And this is one of my personal questions, Todd. I'm a huge John Leguizamo. First of all, he's Colombian. He did Phantom X. He's doing an art contest on Twitter. My wife's working real hard on the cover for number 3. So thank you for bringing that Latino and Hispanic community to Image comic books. And I just want to thank you for everything you do since 1992, man. It's amazing to see. I travel all around the world, but now I'm based in the United States, so I'm being able to catch your comics on release day, like Gunslinger. Before the comic book store opens, I'm going to be there waiting for number 2 tomorrow. And thank you so much for what you do, Steve. Thank you for your music. I jammed to it on the way back from Tennessee, and thank you guys for the support that you give us, and thank you for thinking about South Central America and the world.
I'll give you a little insider. The Gunslinger that's been pretty popular. He's Hispanic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, that is amazing. Great news.
So I haven't showed him without his mask quite yet, but I mean there was hints of it earlier. But
whoa, guys, that's big news. I don't know. Like, I mean, this is like it's almost like it almost went it was like a whisper, but that's some big news for all the fans.
Yeah.
Todd, again, Steve, you guys are amazing people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And that's it for today. I know we will have many of these in the future. Hopefully, I'll be here. And thank you. You see my art. You see my. I don't have a NFT. I have original artwork from my wife as my picture, and that's supporting you guys because I believe.
Yeah. I mean that's what's so great about this group chats. Like this kind of information really is meant for the diehards, and in the audience are the diehards. So I'm glad that you guys tuned in and are participating. Being early with what we're doing with OddKey, and also like I love that Todd was giving out some secrets here about some things that no one else knows. So that's really cool.
All right,
thanks again, guys.
All right, we're going to bring up Oz, and then we'll end with Jake. VJ, we had you once, so two more. Unfortunately, we're not going to call you back up. We'll bring Oz up here, and then I'll introduce my son real quick, and then we'll call it a night. Appreciate Steve jumping in, impromptu, cool surprise there. So, can you hear us, Oz?
Yeah, I gotcha. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sweet. Thanks again, guys, for being here for all this and this Q&A. It's been super insightful from Sydney. I've got a couple of friends on here as well, so we're all really excited to have you guys here. And thanks again. My question has to do with work ethic, because I've watched you guys. I've watched some documentaries on Steve. I've watched documentaries on you, Todd. Like, I'm a massive fan of both of yours. And I've noticed that you guys have this incredible work tenacity, this drive that just, continues to push you guys forward and onwards onto bigger and better things. Sorry, I've got my daughter here. My question is, what drives you guys to continue to grow and get better and bigger and just expand your horizons?
So I'll go first, Steve. The drive part, I think, for me, I think people externally give more credit to that. The drive is just a natural thing. It's just my personality, Steve's personality. Or like we don't really know we're driving. We're just being ourselves. We're being true to ourselves. So people give those labels to you, right? Sometimes they're good labels. Sometimes they're not so good, right? Fine line between tenacity and being sort of an asshole, right? So it depends on who you're talking to. So the drive is, somebody was even asking me today, again, when I was talking about the TV show, and I go, Todd, why do you want to be the best? And the answer was, I go, I hope this doesn't seem curt. Why not? Why not? Like, why be an artist and say, but I don't want, but only 3% of the people to see it? Why don't you want everybody to see your art? I mean, I don't know. I don't think any of us should make apologies for basically wanting to do art and then showing it to a lot of people. Okay, cool. Yeah. And so for me, it's just in my DNA to just be Todd. And if that means that it comes across as being driven and hardworking, cool. The second piece of that is that you also become aware that there are other people that are in your in your lane, and some of them are really good. Some of them have way more talent than you, and some of them are really and they, if anything, you just go, wow, I'm gonna have to pick up my game because those guys are really good. So competition's always good, especially if you're competitive, which is part of the hard driving. So looking over your left shoulder and right shoulder at all times, and sometimes even getting humbled and being in 5th place in a race can sometimes sort of get you on the right track again. So I don't know about you, Steve. You're up.
Yeah, I mean, like the core reason why I do what I do I guess, like, I don't even think about the pace, because first of all, I have to like think about why do I do what I do, is I absolutely love it. I like, there's so many other things that you could be doing, right? Like, we're human beings with a lot of different interests, and when I was younger, that's exactly what I was doing, finding interests, going out there, exploring and trying different things and seeing what works, what doesn't work, what really compels me, what wakes me up in the morning, what makes me want to get into the studio, what makes me want to do certain things over and over and over and over again. And after you do it the millionth time and you still love it, guess what? You just get better at it. It's just the nature of how the human brain works. You get better when you do more of the same thing. And then you realize after the millionth time and you still love it, that you're not only good at what you do, but you could keep going and you can keep getting better at it. That's like also a really great thing about art and music, is that you can always pivot, change, move. It's all subjective, right? It's like what you love. It's like when I'm in the studio, I don't have to always make the same thing that always works. I have freedom to try new ideas. And yes, some of them fail. Yes, some of them like people don't listen to, and all of a sudden the streams are shit or whatever it is. But I don't care about that. Like, of course, it's great. You're like, oh my God, this one hit like this number of views or this many streams. Of course, it's fantastic. Or I played this many people. Of course, that's fantastic. But that's not why I do it. I still remember when I was playing in living rooms to 6 people. I remember touring across the United States. I did 14 tours across the United States and never slept in a hotel room. I slept either in the van or at someone that came to the show's house. I was sleeping on a couch, and someone that came to the show after the show would be like, "Hey, can we sleep on a couch?" And I loved it. And I came finished after the tour making $20 to $60 a show, going, I can't wait to get back on the road because I fucking loved it. It didn't matter if there was 8 people at the show, because sometimes there was 8 people, we'd make $18, but I was ready to drive 10 hours to the next city and ready to sleep in the van again with 3, sometimes 4 guys, and just like we have to shower at the YMCA. But that's just part of fucking what you love to do. It's a real test. And when you fucking do it a lot, you just get good at it, and like you get good at it to your own subjective, because it's all subjective at the end of the day. There's a lot of people that don't like my music. I don't give a shit. I really don't care. I'm just going to fucking do my shit, and then the people that love it, that's what I care about. All I care about is the 85 people that are in this room. I don't give a shit about anybody else, because at the end of the day, this is the only thing that really matters anyways, right? What we're doing. You're listening and I'm speaking, you're asking questions, we're all talking, we're all communicating. There's nothing else that really exists right now except this moment. So that's how I think about the thing that I'm doing when I'm playing the show. I don't care. Let's say the room's half empty. I'm like, fuck this shit. Fuck the crowd. Fuck. Like, if you think like that, like nothing else matters. Make the room that's half full just fucking legendary. Let's make this a great experience. And then when you do that over and over again, you have better shows. You then start thinking about how to make that show better, and you start just become a better performer, better entertainer, better artist, better what you do. You just care. Just be present. Care about what you do. Love what you do. If you don't love it, try something else, because there's so many other things in the world that you could do.
And somebody who likes it who's better than you is going to basically take that slot anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And really appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing, because you're inspiring a lot of people and really making it work for everybody.
Well, here's the thing, Oz. Even if we weren't inspiring people, Steve and I are still going to do it.
Exactly.
Oh, for sure.
We're going to do it till we're dead. Like, we're just going to do it because we love doing it. You know what I mean? And that's why,
we found our groove. We're going to hang in our groove for a while. So
we're going to build OddKey into the biggest, baddest marketplace in the fucking world. That's the goal.
Awesome.
Like, we're here because we love to be here. We want to be here. We want to keep growing it. And we've been doing it. Think about Image Comics and the decades of what they've done, and what I've done with Dimmock. This is what we love to do. We care about our community. We care about building what we've been growing for, in the IRL. And now we are thinking about the future, and this is exactly where we're going. There's no stopping it. We're already going to be there. So the people that are setting up their houses in the Wild Wild West first, and the people that are canvassing the landscape first will have, the first way to look at the world. You know what I mean? So, for everyone here, I really feel like all of us are early, and we're going to start being the architects of our own futures.
Wait.
All right. Thanks, Oz.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Hey, and before we end off, I'm gonna bring my son on board just for a minute. Besides, he's my son. He's a good man. He's also going to be in charge of my NFT sort of side of things. So as the time goes by, he's going to become the expert at my company. So just like Steve has his team and his people, he's got Matt, who's spectacular, and a whole other group of people. I'm new to the space. I got to start literally breeding people to basically catch up to what all this is. And my son sort of took me up on an offer. Didn't want to do any comic books or any toys. I told him cheap plastic goods was an honorable profession, but he decided that he didn't want to do that. My daughters didn't, but Jake's going to be there. So he has this tricky handle. As if you see him here on Discord and got any questions, run it through him, because eventually he can run it to his old man. It's Jake Mcfarlane, so it's not super clever any more than mine is Todd, and Steve's is Steve Aoki. we got to come up with funner names than that. But if you see Jake on the boards, just like some of the moderators, Uatu and his group of moderators are doing a spectacular job. Matt and his group on Steve End doing a spectacular job. Just keep asking them. Eventually, sort of the important stuff will eventually get back to Steve and I. So I don't know if you've got anything you're going to add to that, Jake.
Yeah, not much. Yeah, I'm more in the background. Like my dad said, me and him are very new to all this, so I'm heavy into study mode on NFTs. So I'm on the low end of knowledge for NFTs. But any questions you guys give me, if I can answer them, I'll definitely get back to you. Either immediately, but most likely later on. And hopefully later on, I'll be much more in tune to the community, much more involved. And like you said, I'll be able to run it straight up to him, because I can just drive 5 minutes away and go straight to him if I need to.
All right, a newbie. We got a newbie here. We got the Mcfarlane newbies here, trying to catch up to the Aoki crowd here, because they got themselves a year start on us, which seems like about 20 years in NFT time, but we're going to see if we can't cut it down. So thank everybody for showing up, coming on board here. Thanks to Steve for showing up impromptu. Appreciate it, Steve. So,
of course, guys. Jake, what's up, Jake? How you doing?
Not too bad. Hanging out, lots of studying, as always.
Nice.
NFT
Yeah.
study.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, everybody. Appreciate it. I'm going to be doing it again tomorrow at midnight, and that's because I want to grab some international people, and sometimes the American time slots don't work for people around the globe. So I'll stay up late and see if we can't get a little bit more international flavor. But in the meantime, you guys got questions, we'll be hanging out here. I'm on Discord all the time because I do a lot of tabletop gaming. So I'm already here all the time. I know you guys go, man, look at Todd, he's here. But it's because I'm actually doing my game moves. And then I come over here and answer, and then I go back to my games. So I'm geeking out anyways. So I'm always on Discord. So same with Jake. So, all right, everybody have a good evening. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.